There are a lot of myths that are made up by the church. Church-made myths. A friend of mine called me uh, earlier today, and we were talking, and in our conversation, she mentioned the fact that her church told her that she couldn't do a particular thing. I don't even want to go into the thing that she was talking about, but she couldn't do this particular thing. I said, I don't think the Bible talks about that. I talked about like the way how things were in the Jewish culture and how a lot of times it was very oppressive to women and things like that. And she went back to the Bible, looked up this verse that she's heard heard people talk about a lot of times, and when she read it, she saw the historical context of it. And then we spoke on the phone again, and she was telling me like, "Wow, I can't believe my mind is blown right now. I've always just accepted this as truth. I've always accepted this as truth." And she's like, "What else have people taught me that I accepted as truth, but is not really truth?" That's like a lot of people in church. A lot of people in church hear a sermon or they hear it said by a teacher or by another member, and we just accept it as truth just because somebody said it. It's like what Jesus said in Luke chapter 6 that we preached about today. How the blind lead the blind. The blind lead the blind. And it's then the next verse talks about how teachers train their students to be just like them. In church, there are people who are blind. They don't know the truth. They are ignorant of how to understand the Bible, how to apply the Bible, and they're passing on that information to other people. And it's the blind leading the blind. And then next, that person passes on to the next generation, and that generation passes on to the next generation. And we're just passing on misinformation, misunderstandings, church myths. And then we train people to become just like us. It's like this major car company that I read about on the news. This major car company had to recall all these cars back. Millions of dollars they lost. Why? Because the factory put out a faulty line. I feel like our churches a lot of times put out a faulty line of people because people are following people. And if the model is wrong, then you create faulty replicas. Blind leading the blind. Teachers making their students to be just like them. We need to stop trying to be like other people in church. We need to stop trying to listen to other people in church. We need to start listening to God. We need to go directly to His Word. Read it. And stop reading verses out of context. Stop just reading little proof text. We need to start reading things within the paragraph, within the chapter, to start understanding what verses are talking about so that we can know what the Bible is really saying. And if we can understand what the Bible is saying, we can understand how it applies to our life. And a lot of the misconceptions, a lot of these church myths would be squashed. And we can have a true understanding about God and how He wants our lives to be like. The truth will set us free. Misinformation, false truths, that will confuse us and will trap us in a wrong mentality. by learning the real truth, that will free us.